Okay, so what happened was that Prabhupada called me back into the room, and I was kind of fascinated then, because now I'm in the room with Prabhupada, and Prabhupada's going to have a shave. So I was drying myself off, and Prabhupada was in the mirror with this, and he'd soaked up, and he had this, Nanda Kumar was standing behind him with a towel and some stuff. And now the only thing you have to check if it's Nanda Kumar, because that I can't focus in on. I don't think, it might have been Shruti Kirti, but I don't think so. You know, it's one of those things, because with Prabhupada I always remember, you know, kind of servants, but there were always Nanda Kumar or Shruti Kirti or something like that. So I'm pretty sure it was Nanda Kumar. But anyway, Prabhupada's trying to use the razor. So I could see Prabhupada was disturbed, and I was fascinated the way Prabhupada was so angelic. He was like going like this. So Prabhupada was looking, so he turned to Nanda Kumar and said, "This is Gillette?" First of all, he was holding the razor in his hand like that, and he said, and then he looked at Nanda Kumar and said, and he was pointing to the dial, because Prabhupada has a razor with a dial on it, and he adjusts it, and he said, "There's no dial? It's not here?" Like that. You know how Prabhupada would question. He said, "Dial?" And then Nanda Kumar said, "No, that's not your regular razor, Prabhupada. It doesn't have a dial." And Prabhupada said, "Is it?" Then Prabhupada said, "It is Gillette?" And then Nanda Kumar said, "No, it's not Gillette." Prabhupada said, "Simply bogus." And the way it was like unbelievable. It was like he'd rejected, you know, like someone who rejects Mayavadi philosophy. Prabhupada just said, "Simply bogus." And he said it in such a wonderful way. And the razor just sort of floated. He didn't throw it, but there was a shelf there, and it just landed on the shelf. But Prabhupada just went, "Simply bogus."
And when Prabhupada was in Rome, he commented, by looking at the architecture, that the Vedic civilization has spread up to Rome. Just by looking at the old Roman wall and some other Roman ruins, he said that that style of architecture is to be found within the Vedic civilization. And that's also where Srila Prabhupada wanted a book to be written, entitled "How Krishna Consciousness Can Solve All the Problems of the World." And every morning he would ask us to bring all kinds of problems to him, and he would solve them through Krishna consciousness. And in '74 there was a problem with, there was a big oil embargo going on. So there was a major petroleum crisis. And oil had gone from $4 a barrel up to $40 or something, some huge leap. And Prabhupada said, "This can be solved very easily." He said, "Everyone should stop using motor cars and go by foot or by horse or by cart." He said, "This motor car society won't last very long." He said that in human society, the mode of travel, the most normal mode of travel, is by horse or by cart, by camel, and by elephant. He said that mode of transport has been around since time immemorial. He said only in Kali Yuga do we have this motor car, and he said this motor car society will not last very long. He said when the petrol dries up, when the oil dries up, what use are your motor cars? He said, "I never intended the temples to be for householders." He said that temples are meant for brahmacharis and sannyasis. Householders are meant to live outside. He said, "So I'm giving you a house to live." And he said, "And while you're over there, you should also work." He said, "Householders should live outside and they should work outside also." So this is how the mukha business started up, under Prabhupada's personal care and attention. He even took me to Aligarh, because there's so much brass making goes on, especially of the unfinished, unrefined casting of the deities. And Prabhupada wanted me to start up a business manufacturing not only crowns and dresses for the deities as a means of livelihood for maintaining myself over in that house. He gave me a house to myself, that Taparya house, which of course is now the Goshala. I developed that whole thing through the income from the business over the years. But he also wanted me to distribute Gaurnitai deities in a massive scale. He said this is the way we can actually spread the cultural aspect of Krishna consciousness, is through worship of Gaur-Nitai. He said that these Gaur-Nitai deities should be sold along with the books as Sankirtan paraphernalia and be sold as Hare Krishna dolls. He said, in the world, people are keeping so many different kinds of dolls. They're keeping Russian dolls, they're keeping Spanish dolls, Mexican dolls, French dolls, Dutch dolls. He said they can also keep Hare Krishna dolls. And he said, Gaur-Nitai are so merciful, they can enter into the home of a meat-eater and not take offense. So he said, we are distributing book Bhagavat and we can also distribute person Bhagavat. He said, if every temple takes minimum 10 pairs of these Hare Krishna dolls a month, we have 120 temples. He said that's 1,200 pairs of Gaur-Nitai every month. He said that is good business. You should learn how to do this. You should push it like anything, which I tried to do, but no one was interested. And he said, when they're sold on the street, this is directly from Srila Prabhupada, he said that when the devotee sells the book and then he says, oh, by the way, we've got these Hare Krishna dolls. Why don't you take them home as well? And so the person in the street will say, well, what are they? He said, well, these are special dolls. If you look after them nicely, they will fulfill all of your desires. So the person may take them, whatever the price is, and go back and put them in his display cabinet or on his shelf or whatever. And he himself may not be particularly interested to know how to fulfill his desires. But he'll be questioned by his family members. Well, we recognize these dolls, but what are these little brass guys there? Who are they? Oh, these are Hare Krishna dolls, and I was told if I look after them nicely, they'll fulfill all my desires. And Prabhupada said, so then at least one member of the family eventually will want to know, how can I fulfill all my desires? How do I do this? What do I do? And the only place he can go is back to the devotees. And the devotees will then teach them how to offer with love and devotion a little fruit, a flower, some water. And later on, as they get more devotional, they can also be introduced to Arctic paraphernalia, and then changing the dresses and so on. So this was another big vision of Srila Prabhupada.
He was always trying to give Krishna to somebody, whether it was in the form of a sweet, whether it was in some dialogue, whether it was in the form of his books, whether it was in the form of the deities, whether it was in the form of his disciples, giving you their association. He was always trying to create a situation where people would advance in Krishna consciousness. And, that's the greatest compassion. Constantly aware of people suffering, even they think they're happy. He could see beyond that. He understood everything. And he knew the only business in life was to give Krishna consciousness to other people. And I like to think he instilled a little of that in me. That morning he said that we are their good fortune, that you can also give this to people. He didn't say, I am their good fortune, I have come from India to give this knowledge. No, we are their good fortune. So that's also the humility. Prabhupada's humility and compassion. Krishna Kirtana